community in many, many civic organizations. He served as an at-large council member for the city of Holland. And he currently is facilities associate for the Community Action House Food Club. He also bakes bread. He's an entrepreneur and he bicycles all over town. A couple of years ago, we were having lunch and Ken mentioned that he was playing the ukulele and that he had made a uke out of the shape of a Dutch shoe. His passion and enthusiasms caught on with a number of people. We even have some college students who wanted to attend this class today because they're interested in the ukulele, but since they're not HAS members, they couldn't do that. So I thought it was really appropriate. This is a perfect time to bring Ken here for us to fall in love with the uke. Please welcome Ken.
For being here. This is great. I'm terribly excited. As you came in, you saw that picture of all those ukuleles or ukulele. If will be interchangeable today, it'd be the ukulele. And it has become a collection, as somebody said this morning. My wife says it may be something else, maybe a little bit more of an obsession. But I've got samples up here for everybody to look at and to play with. We will hopefully at the very end, anybody who wants to pick up an instrument, will learn a 2-chord song and we can play that together today and we can record that and you can be part of the 100 Days of Ukulele Songs project. You can be my 26 out of 100 songs. You can be part of that today. So you can decide. The only one I would ask that we don't play today is this one here. It's fairly fragile. It's about 65 years old and it's got a little bit of splitting going on here, so it's a little bit fragile. Still sounds okay. Actually sounds, it's not tuned, but it's a little bit, it's got a little buzz going on, we've got a little splitting going on. So just be careful. Please don't play that one, but the rest of them you may pick up, and I'll talk about some of these instruments. The reason I have a lot of these instruments, because number one, it's just a lot of fun, and this is called UAS in the ukulele world. It's ukulele acquisition syndrome. So this happens a lot. The interesting thing about ukuleles is that they're mostly affordable. You can start out and get a nice instrument for a low price and even find a bunch of them on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. And that's where many of mine over here have come from, is because when I see somebody selling it, I pick it up. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm teaching some classes for kids and we're hoping, like Maple Avenue Ministry has a grant, we're hoping that we can find a way to use some of that grant money to compensate me for some of these, just to pay for what I paid for them so that the kids can get these in their homes. So we want them to be able to, they'll maybe pay $5 or something for it, but then they get an instrument in their home. The other ones that you see here, there's colored ones like these and they're lined up over here. I have 20 of these. These were donated to me by a place called Music is the Foundation. And it's a music foundation out of Lansing, and Ben Hassinger runs that. And Ben Hassinger is the official ambassador for the ukulele in Michigan and really the whole Midwest. He runs camps and festivals, and all the proceeds from that go into his music foundation. He buys instruments, puts them in school, teaches kids music, and so he gave me 20 of them. I said, Ben, may I buy some, from you, from the foundation? He goes, nope. How many do you need? I said, well, could we do 20? He says, yep, no problem. I got those in the back of the basement. I'll get those tuned up and shipped over. And we met at Trader Joe's in Grand Rapids, and I picked up 20 ukuleles from him. So it's nice because I can share these with the kids, and they can take these home in between classes, and they have something to play and use to practice. That's what I want. And so anyway, just finished some classes with Maple Avenue Ministries doing Holland Heights of Hope. I've done 10 weeks. This is my 9th week of classes with Heights of Hope. That was daunting when somebody said 10 weeks of classes. I'm like, oh my. So I have been playing for 4 years. I did not play. I played this 45 years ago. This is my Takamine guitar, and I've kept moving it from place to place all these years, and of course it would sit there prominently in a corner, and then the next house it would sit there in the corner for a long time. I picked it up 4 years ago again and said, all right, I'm gonna just dive in. Well, my hands don't work as well as they used to, and so I wasn't able to reach as far as I could. So I'll explain a little bit more about how I'm playing my guitar again in a little different way. So I picked up the ukulele about 4 years ago, and now this is what I get a chance to do. And what I want you to come away from today is really that right there, with joy with the ukulele. And it is just fun. I had my first paid gig here. I played at Platter Day in Zealand a few weeks ago, and the museum hired me to play for 3 hours. So I had to come up with a little bit of a set list, a lot of a set list. And my wife came and joined me and sang with me also. So it was a real true joy to do that. And you can see I have my plaid Hawaiian shirt on. So I busked last year for the first time downtown Holland. I have my license now to go out and play on the streets. That was daunting. I did do it on a Tuesday at like 11:30 in the morning. So I was like, okay, let me try this and see if I can do this. So that was me. Here's my wife singing with me. And so this just become just an absolute, again, joy to do this. This is what hi Jen, this is what what looks like things that I do get a chance to do every month and sometimes several times a month. This is at Marge's Donut Den in Grand Rapids. First Saturday of every month. And I don't think, oh shoot, Mike's not in the picture. He's the guy taking all the pictures. Mike Heffron he runs probably the best ukulele group in the country as far as number of people coming. This was just this past Saturday, and there were 40 to 45 people there playing. And that was me doing an open mic. I did Come Monday with Jimmy Buffett. But Marge's Donut Den, it's great for her. She has a conference room there. So we all get together and play. At one point, there were, in one of those strums, a couple of years ago when we were doing it, there were 100 people there. And every month, and there are people come from all over the state, mostly Grand Rapids and Holland, Lakeshore area. But we have people come from, when they come into Michigan, they come to this because oh yeah, we know about Mike's event. That's great. So, and it's also that Marge doesn't mind either because you got 45 people buying donuts and coffee. So not too bad. And I love this logo for the Hug GR. So it's a Calder logo in there. I love the way Mike incorporated that in there. Years ago, actually. So this is up at Interlaken. They hold the Uktoberfest up in Interlaken. And so I think about 80 people can register for that. And they have classes and they have world-class performers. These are some of the world's finest players and performers come and teach classes. So it's a 2.5-day event. It's a Saturday all day, and then Friday night, and usually a Sunday. And then there's open mic time. There's a thing at the local pizza shop up there in Interlaken. So this is what it looks like. And this is what the classroom looks like. One of the classrooms when we all get together, and then we'll all break out into different classrooms. But look, there's a lot of joy going on in that picture. And there's just a lot of fun people. I've never met a group of people that are more fun and more supportive of each other than my ukulele family. It's really, really just become a great, great thing. This is the 100 Days of Ukulele 2022 is what I'm participating in this year. That's me over there with my official t-shirt on, and I've got my official ukulele, my 100 Days t-shirt is on right here. So that's me in my, as my daughter calls it, my uke nook. So this is my little studio office. There I am up in the corner there. This was 60 some people with their t-shirts on. So 1,300 people last year signed up for 100 Days of Songs, where you play a different song or a different exercise or a different picking pattern. What are you working on? Do something every day for 100 days and take a video of it, post it on our Facebook group, and then you get all sorts of comments and people, like, oh, great shot, great video, you know, love your finger picking style. Again, super supportive. I have some friends who they cannot sing at all, but they belt it out there and they play, and they're great players, but they may not be able to sing at all. And everybody's like, great job, this is awesome, your finger picking, you know, so everybody's super supportive and they're improving. I can see them improving because of that support too. So this is 100. So out of the 1,300 people that did that, 320 of us finished last year and did a song every day for 100 days. And today is day 26 of this year's thing. So it's hard to believe we're a quarter of the way through. It's just like I pick a song now, and I sometimes work on a song for several days before I'm going to do it that day. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm now to the point where I love this. I can go, my God, I can just pick a song and play it. Let me flip through a book. Oh, what's this song? Okay. Oh yeah, I know this song. I can play it. All of a sudden I can do it. So I'm just, you know, I'm so overjoyed with being able to do this now, and just something completely new, to be able to learn something new. Now, I started playing when I was 61. I'm 65. I'll be 66 soon. So I haven't been playing that long, and I'm doing something new, which is great, which is the other thing I want everybody to take away, that this is one of those instruments, and you can do it with guitar, you can do it with any instrument, really. Piano would be a great one for that. Just dig in and do it. I play every day. Now I play an hour every day. Times a week, but I play every day. It's just my thing now. Sit down, play a song, work on it. I keep them near me when I'm working. So a lot of times when I have Zoom event, you'll see at least 3 or 4 of them hanging behind me. People are like, is that a virtual screen? It's like, no, that's my real one. And so I'll grab something and just play it, or just practice a little bit. So that's something that's just my obsession now. Now, I do want to give credit to Jim Beloff for some of the pictures I'm going to show throughout this presentation are from Jim Beloff. And Jim Beloff is, to me, probably the most important person in the third wave of the ukulele. We'll talk about 3 major waves of the ukulele. He's like he is the one. He's the guy who really brought this to a whole new level. And he has Jumpin' Jim's publishing and flea market publishing. This is a book that we use called The Daily Ukulele. A lot of us use this book, and it is 365 songs. So guess what? A song every day. Pick a song, play it, but there's 365 in here. So publications he's done, but he and his wife, Liz, this is a book he wrote back, published in 1997, and he just came out with a new one about kind of his history in ukulele, his and his wife Liz's history in ukulele. And so I want to give Jim the credit that he's due here, and I will send Jim a message with some of this and say, Jim, thank you so much for, you know, I use some of this in a presentation because he's great to correspond with. He's a fun guy to chat with too. So I just want to show.
They say you can't play blues on a ukulele, but there they are wrong. You went away, and this is all I play, my ukulele's sad song. They say you can't cry and play a ukulele.
Out in here today, but I'll just show you a couple of them that that credit for. And Jim also, he writes for he was a salesperson for Rolling Stone magazine and a couple of other publications, and then he a flea market in Los Angeles, in Hollywood actually. And from that day, it was like turned his life around. he actually writes for Broadway too. He writes songs. One of his CDs he came out with, his 2 CD sets he came out with. He's also super kind. When you buy the CD, you get all of the song sheets for all of the songs, 36 of them on those 2 CDs. It's like, here you go, play them. And so it was great to be able to get all the, I fell in love with the CDs, and I was like, oh my God, why have I never heard this before? And I've got about 8 songs of his that I love to play. But to get the music, and then corresponding with Jim, there was one song, I just couldn't get it. I'm like, man, why is this so hard? I'm playing along with Jim, it's not sounding right. I emailed him, said, Jim, I got your CD, I love it, blah, blah, blah. And having a problem with it. He goes, well, here's the reason why. He says, I tuned that ukulele differently. It's tuned in this chord structure. And it's like, I play it this way. I was like, oh, okay, switched it over. But he was kind enough just to send me an email and say, here's what I did. And I just really appreciated that. So let me start with let me play a little song for you. When I think about Jim, I just think about he's so much fun. His lyrics are great. Again, writing for Broadway, so he's a great lyricist, but he writes great music. And this is a song called "At the Magic Laundromat," and this is by Herb Ota, who is like, they call him Ota-san now. I mean, it's like he is one of the masters of the ukulele that people follow and have taken lessons from. Some of the finest performers that I'll show a couple of clips from have taken lessons from him. So it's phenomenal. So, but Jim Beloff wrote the lyrics for it. So this is called "At the Magic Laundromat." Anything can happen at the magic laundromat, where you wash your laundry and a little this and that. Bring your weary blues any day or night. 20 minutes later, all your blues are bright. Anything can happen when the world is spinning round. Dreams you left in pockets are mysteriously found. Abracadabra, you're not, wouldn't say abracadabra, you're not where you were at when you walked into the magic laundromat. Thank you very much. Yes.
Your next song,
Yeah.
and if it's okay, I know you're flexible.
Jim Beloff, he's just a great guy. I just really enjoy. And he is really the #1 person that has taken the ukulele to a whole new level of marketing and writing songs. And he's written all sorts of songs and songbooks. So, but here's a little bit of the journey, a little bit of the history of the ukulele also. And it actually started, and it started in Hawaii, but it started in Portugal. And it was in 1879 when the Ravenscraig landed it was August 23, 1879. The Ravenscraig landed on the islands of Hawaii. And there were 419 people on there. There were men, women, and children. The men were contract workers. They were not slaves. They were leaving Portugal because they were going through a famine at that time. And they were out of work and they were hungry. And they actually went to the sugarcane fields. So it wasn't like it was a great place to work, but this was contract labor. This was not a slave ship that brought them over. But when Joao Fernandez jumped off the ship, when they were just celebrating, it was a 4-month journey to get there with their families. And he jumps off the ship and he starts to play this instrument and dance and sing this little folk song, this Portuguese folk song. And the natives were just like, what in the world is this sound? What is this thing? So what it was and three other men on that ship. So it's Augusto Diaz, Manuel Nunez, and Jose de Espirito Santo. All were craftsmen and instrument builders and furniture builders that were on the ship. They had done that back in Portugal. What was called either the cavaqueno, which is the one up, these here are cavaqueno, the machete de Braga, and they have the raejo, which is the one up in the top there. And we have set up professional audio settings. Do I need those? Audio in audio settings. I don't know. It's up on the screen. So yeah, there we go. It's okay. It's not. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just there, and we'll see if it goes beyond that. So anyway, this is, and over on the far left is actually one of the first ukuleles built in Hawaii. This was from the Diaz ukulele, and the three of them, those three men that were craftsmen and instrument builders, each started instrument shops and furniture shops. And so eventually some of them came together, one closed, they started working together. And so that's really the birth of the ukulele, was being built in Hawaii at that time, but it came from some other instruments. These are steel string. The ukulele is mostly nylon strings. You can do some steel strings, but it's not like a guitar that has a truss rod inside there for supporting it, and you can put a lot of tension on it. I've tried to put steel strings on one of my ukuleles, and this little piece here, this little bridge just kind of goes, boom, pulls right off because there's so much tension on it. It's not meant for that. So there are things you can do with that, but that is the kind of the beginning of that. So there's one of the original Diaz ukuleles. I meant this one, not the one on the previous screen. But here's the four sizes. So you've got the soprano, which is like this. These are sopranos. Which is going to be like this one here. A few more frets on it, a little bigger sound. Which would be like the one I've got here, but also this one. There, let's go into the baritone. Four strings of a guitar. Generally the same. You may tune them differently, but generally they're tuned the same. This one is tuned like a guitar. So it means different chords, but this is still a ukulele. So this is still one that we play, but again, you just have to learn different chords with it, and you have to learn different ways to play it. Now, let me show you my biggest ukulele. This one here. So this one that when I play this, people are like, whoa, that thing looks huge. And it is. This is my guitar. Now, while playing, I love experimenting. As you can see, I've got some great experimental stuff going on here. What I discovered, and me just looking at different tunings, and I come across a video somewhere or somebody, and all of a sudden I realized that if you put a capo, this piece right here to change the tuning on an instrument, if I put it on the 5th fret, it is actually tuned like a ukulele. So I can play all my same chords on here that I would play on my ukulele in the same positions. So now I get a chance to, because my hands don't work the way they used to as far as trying to do the chords, I can now play my guitar again with like a ukulele, or I can take the capo off and play it like a baritone and play those chords on it too. So now I've got my guitar back again, which is a delight because I just love the sound of this. And it's a beautiful instrument. This is a Takamine F340, and it's a beautiful instrument, and I missed it. And so it's nice to have it back again. So every once in a while I'll play that, and I'll do a couple of different videos and mash them all together and have me playing together with my different instruments or singing differently. So it's fun to be able to do that, but it's nice to have that back again. So that was a great discovery. So talking about playing guitar earlier, and it's like, well, I used to play the guitar. Well, you can play it again. If you don't feel like you can do it the same way you could, there are new ways to play it. So it's just a blast to be able to do that. This is the first major wave of the ukulele. So this was in the 1915 exposition, and this was the Panama exposition in San Francisco, and it was the opening of the Panama Canal. And so they had this huge expo, and countries from around the world were there. Hawaii sent a delegation. Now you have to remember where this is coming from. So Hawaii was not a state, but it was under a territory. It was a territory of the United States, but it was a forced territory. The royal family was actually imprisoned in the late 1800s and forced to sign over the deeds and the lands to the United States as a territory. And that was by the fruit growers. There's got to be a song about Pearl Harbor, right? There's got to be a song about that. I should learn that and play that. And then I started reading about Pearl Harbor. Okay, we all have the great respect for the monument and the memorial and everything that happened with it. But then I discovered that the natives of Hawaii are not even recognized as a native. They do not get any of the benefits that our First Americans or Native Americans get on the mainland. They get none of that. That island. So it became a real interesting juxtaposition in my head about reverence for World War II and Pearl Harbor and all those that were killed, and then the people of the land there that don't have the rights to their land, and their land was stolen from them. That sounds like a familiar story, right? So it was a real interesting. So my song that I started writing for Pearl Harbor has, in the last 6 months, kind of gone whoop into something else. I'm not sure what it's going to be just yet. So it's one of those works in progress, but it was a very interesting thing to learn. So to have both of those areas to be thinking about and talking about. So it's a, but so this is the kind of the big first wave here. And yeah, let's try one more song here a minute. What do I want to play? I'll play this one. See or hear is something a little bit more like this. Honolulu by moonlight, you will be in heaven by the sea. Every breeze, every wave will whisper, you are mine, don't ever go away. Honolulu, Honolulu moon is lighting beloved Kauai. Honolulu, Honolulu moon, aloha no waioe. So, when I talk about, 1915, the exposition and traditional songs, that is a traditional Hawaiian song written in 1974, just so you know that. So it was, but it's such an iconic sound, and that to play that one is just really fun because it just brings you back to that era, but it's really something from today. So here's a couple of pioneers in the ukulele world in that first major wave of sound. Roy Smeck. Anybody heard of Roy Smeck?
We've done everything. Gives me great pleasure to introduce the Gizzard on Wings.
Here. Okay, so
Right after that, I got on the big time.
That was the first talkie. It was a documentary done 15 years ago. But let's see right here. So Roy Smeck continued to play.
Cross-feet rags.
Roy Smeck, just because
Fine, Roy, that's fine, but we got a little baby guitar here.
about
See what
this
you can scratch
is
out
that
on.
when I go to classes and I have somebody who's teaching classes, they're teaching those kind of things. They're teaching those crazy strums, the flips. I did a whole thing. I have one instrument here that's got holes in the back of it. I actually drilled 4 holes in the back. There was a competition, light competition between ukuleles, and it was flipping the ukulele. So people would play it and they'd go, they'd flip it and they'd play some more and they'd flip it and they'd do all these crazy little things with it. Well, I drilled 4 holes in the back of mine. I attached a Lazy Susan to it. I attached it to my belt, ran the belt through it. So I played a song and then I flipped it and it went and rolled around. I didn't win the competition. I was surprised I didn't, but that was me doing that with so something different. But they're teaching those kind of things that Roy Smeck is doing, and the strums and the crazy licks. And so this is really fun. But so Roy Smeck was called the Wizard of Strings. He played that first picture. When we go back to that first picture, you'll see there's an accordion there, there's a guitar, there's a ukulele, there's a banjo. He played everything with the strings. But
That, will you? How about the tiger rag?
Tiger rag?
Start scratching, Roy, that's fine. Okay.
when they're just sped it up, that's him actually strumming. Him so much. And here's also another icon, someone who is just iconic in this world, is Cliff Edwards. And Cliff Edwards also, if you ever heard Jiminy Cricket, he was the voice of Jiminy Cricket. later on. So it became, so he's got this golden voice, but so this was the introduction of Singing in the Rain before it became Gene Kelly singing it and dancing. This was a Hollywood Review of 1929.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain.
And his voice.
What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with your rain, I've got a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain, just singing, singing in the rain. Why am I happy and why do I sing? Why does December seem sunny as spring?
Iconic, and he performed all the way into the late 60s and 70s. But one of the tragedies of entertainment industry also, that his life did not end real well with him being so popular. But in the early years, he was one of the guys. He was one of the ones. So just a little bit of an idea of what the first wave was like, and then we'll talk about the second wave, and then we'll talk about the current wave of the ukulele. So these are statistics from Martin Guitars. Martin was building back in, they started in 1915 is when they started. You can see they built 12 in 1915. But the first big wave was in 1924, 25, 26, when the talkies came out and people started the vaudeville era. That was the era right there. That's when they started. And it continued on for a while, obviously into the Great Depression. It was not as popular. Now, this was just Martin Guitars. Built 250,000 of them in 1923. So this, again, these were just the numbers of Martin. There were other companies. And in McAfee, the plastic ukuleles, which is a lot like this one, you'll see a picture of it a little later on, but something like this, the molded plastic ones, between 1949 and 1958, they sold 9 million ukuleles. That was just the one company. So there were others out there. And then in 2020, just as a reference, 1.6 million of them sold in the United States in 2020. That's just in the US. So we're in another huge wave of the ukulele. Of what you'd find coming out in the late teens of the 1900s and into the 20s and into the 30s. These were the publications, and they would look like this, and they had the beautiful Hawaiian picture on there. And this was so much marketing. This was about tourism. This was really about the music and about publishing music books, but it was about tourism. This was sponsored by, a lot of these were sponsored by the fruit growers and the tourist industry to bring people there. And so you see lots of pictures of beautiful woman sitting in a grass skirt, a little bikini top, and playing the ukulele on the beach with the moon. And that's the iconic images of that. Let's see here. So there's actually a tune that comes from that era. Little soprano. So let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm going to play with something different because it actually came from that era. So it was more like the Tin Pan Alley stuff. This hat's a little, I need a bigger head. So it's like, maybe after today I'll have it, So, so this is my ukulele. So this won't be super loud. Yep. You see that up there, Susan? A version of this recently at an event we were at on 2222 at 222 we played a little version of this song a little differently, but it was, so this is tiptoe through the window. Let me put this back on. Hang on just a second. Costume change quick. To the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me. And this will not be a Tiny Tim moment here, but oh, tiptoe by the garden of a willow tree, and tiptoe through the tulips with me. Knee deep in flowers we'll stray, we'll keep the showers away. And if I kiss you in the garden, in the moonlight, will you pardon me and tiptoe through the tulips with me? Knee deep in flowers we'll stray, we'll keep the showers away. If I kiss you in the garden, in the moonlight, will you pardon me and tiptoe through the tulips with me? There we go. So many people don't know that that actually was written in 1929 and first performed in 1929 in the movies. Al Dubin wrote that. And so anyway, performed a long time ago. We know it as something else, right? We've heard somebody else do that. And we will touch briefly on Tiny Tim, just briefly, ever so tiny Tim. So the next big wave for the ukulele really started in the 50s. That's when it started after World War II. And in the 50s, and actually the next picture is, I'll go up here and then I'll come back to the other one, but Arthur Godfrey, okay? Arthur Godfrey, not only did he have the Arthur Godfrey Hour, he had his TV show, he had a show for a period of time, he had the two most popular shows in TV running at the same time. He, for 3 months, had a show where every day he taught a ukulele lesson because he played the ukulele. He was the first performer to play it on TV. And he played it at like every show. He played the ukulele. He played a baritone many times, but he also played a tenor, a little bit smaller size. So he was the first performer to really play that on TV. It exploded at that. And then, of course, you know, we started getting into more TV shows. Lawrence Welk, picture of Lawrence Welk show over in the corner there. The King, you know, we had a few Elvis moments there with the ukulele.
No pastry, no butter, and no sugar. Pour 'em again.
Guys are being chased by mobsters. They dress up like women and play in an all-women's band. Don't forget to look at the ukulele.
Hey, Sheboygan, you too. What was your last job? Playing square dances?
No, funerals.
Well, would you mind rejoining the living? Goose it up a little.
We'll try.
How did those holes get there?
Those?
Just because it is so funny.
I don't know. Mice?
All right, girls, let's take it from the top. And put a little heat
The
on it.
reveal for the ukulele coming.
running wild, lost control, running wild, mighty bold, feeling gay, reckless too.
Doing a lot of dancing, and she does a lot of Marilyn Monroe. So, but it's there's a whole big long article in the ukulele magazine, which yes, there is a ukulele magazine, on just ukuleles in the movies. So it's just fun to watch all these different places. No, she was just faking it and just faking it and shaking it, shall we say. So as Marilyn did. Okay, so here he is. Now there was again another long article, a very interesting article on Tiny Tim. He was a very accomplished musician. He was really very, very talented. He just picked up that persona and ran with that Tiny Tim with the crazy hair and the ukulele playing it. And that just became his thing. And that's what he did. Again, another very tragic life later on, just did not end well. But that's when I just had somebody recently say, oh, so you can play like Tiptoe Through the Tulips like Tiny Tim? And it's like, no, I'm not going to play it like that. But so there's the little bit of nod to Tiny Tim, because yes, he is part of the culture. And all of us do appreciate what he did with it, because he did some incredible things with it, with playing and his performances and his recordings. But sometimes it's just hard to get past that persona. So I wanted to show you just a couple of people from today and kind of the next wave. So there was that big wave in the 50s, and with Arthur Godfrey, they were selling, you saw, one company that is selling, they're selling tens of millions of ukuleles. They were selling for $395, $350, $495. Of course, there were more expensive ones, $15.95, but they were selling like hotcakes. They really were. That was the big wave. Everybody wanted to play that. And now one of the companies that's still around is Kamaka, and they started in 1910, started building, and they are still playing today. And 4 performers that you see right here, Brian and Rathia, Taimani and Jake, all play Kamaka, as well as you go on their website and look at all the performers that play it. Their instruments start at around, their smallest one starts at, their bass one starts at about $550. And Jake plays one that's probably about 4,000, and Taimani plays one that's probably about 4,000. And these are top performers, but they are amazing instruments. But they've been around. Kamaka has been around all that time and still building today. So it's a fantastic, and I love to see the designs. They came out with the first pineapple style, and you see these pineapple styles on still available today. Lots of variations on it. The cigar box ukuleles and cigar box guitars are just incredibly popular. They're really, really cool, and they sound great. We have a local gentleman who builds ukuleles and guitars, and he builds the cigar box, and that's his affordable one. That's the one that's around $250 to $300, his ukulele. So when I brought this to him, I brought my rough design. This was not my final piece. He finished this off for me. And when I brought this to him, he goes, oh, cool, let me do one for you. Let me work on one. We talked about the parts and pieces and what we want it to look like. He came back and gave it to me and said, here you go. And I paid him something for it. And he was great, because we're working on a bigger project. So he handed me one of his ukuleles, and he says, recently, he said, you really should buy one of mine. And I said, oh, that's great, Scott. This sounds great. He says, you've come so far and you can really appreciate the sound and the feel and everything. So I picked it up and played it, and it's just like, oh, it is a dream sound. I said, Scott, so what does this one sell for? He goes, well, I can do this one a little bit reduced because I've had this one for a little while. This one's $1,800. And I said, Scott, my wife won't let me come home ever again if I did that. So no, I said, maybe someday I'll buy something from you. So I'll probably be getting a cigar box from him soon, because it's an awesome sound. It's electric. And so we can really do some fun stuff with it. But so Kamaka has been around a long time, but I wanted to show you some of the other, during the waves of building these. You can see the great designs here. And these were a lot of times created because of a TV show or an event going on. They would create these cartoon characters, comic strips, performers. Wendell Hall was a great performer, and Regal picked up on that. lines and crazy shapes that are out there. This was the McAfee is the one that's on your right, and that was the one that had sold 9 million in that 9-year period. But I have a friend of mine, one of the 100 Days performers, Ray, has one of these, and he picked it up and he played a song, and it's like everybody was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so beautiful. It really did sound really good. So it wasn't just, hey, it's a plastic instrument, doesn't sound great. It sounded as deep and big as some of my other ukuleles, but it was this size. And he played that, and it was just stunning to hear him play that. So, and he played a little ragtime Tin Pan Alley type song, and it was just great. So, but these are just some of the ones that were sponsored. Now, here's one of my favorite ukulelists of all times. George Harrison is being a ukulele player. Here's one of the latest issues of Ukulele magazine, all on George Harrison. George Harrison traveled around to friends' homes with his trunk filled with ukuleles. And he would go to, there's a great story, there's a great interview with Tom Petty talking about George Harrison showing up at his house, and the two of them getting together and they're playing, and of course they're world-class musicians and they're playing, and he gives them a ukulele, and they played ukulele for a long time. And then when George was leaving, Tom says, oh, here, take this back. He goes, no. He says, this is for you. He says, here's another one. When I come back again, I want to play again. So have that ready. So he handed them out to people all over the world. He carried them with him and just bought dozens of them and handed them out because he loved playing ukulele. And this is one of I just love hearing him play. And he's playing a 6-string. There are 8-string and there's all different kinds, but a 6-string, it's like a guitar. We call it guitar lady. But
I hate to lose you. You got me in between the devil and the deep blue sea.
But it's just like George loves this. He carried one with him all the time when he traveled because he could write. It's great for writing songs on, just to be able to get it's small, easy to find, but that great little shuffle through there.
I wanna cross you off my list.
The band playing with him, we're all world-class musicians. And we're playing, in this carnival tent. The guy dressed up like an elf or like a clown. But it's just beautiful. And this is again one of those beautiful sounds of the ukulele to hear that and how where he is leading it.
You got me in between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Musicians playing with it too, but I love that video. Song I love to play also. It's a little hard for me in that key, but I can do it. So here's the next wave. So Hanoka looks like somebody who'd be playing an ukulele, right? At the beach. She lives in Hawaii. She started out as a duet with Hanoka and Azita, and Azita has gone on to medical school and not playing professionally like Hanoka is. But this is, I wanted you to see from the Tin Pan Alley crazy strum stuff to what's happening now and the sounds that people are making on their ukulele. It's not just that, that little box sound. It's some really incredible sounds. So here's a little bit of Hanoka. Again, I won't play all of these. Her career where she appeared on stage with Azita, and they just blew up from there. She records, she teaches, she performs. Little fan strums and stuff. she learned along the way from Lila's master. Zika's great. She's fun. She's really sweet also. She's played while she's surfing and stuff. And I've seen her do a video where she's playing while she's surfing, literally surfing. This isn't just a green screen moment. This is her doing it. So I actually have a friend of mine who's in the 100 Days Project, who is, she's a stand-up paddleboard teacher, and she teaches hula hoop also. And now she plays ukulele. And one day she's out in her backyard and she's got the hoop. And so she's like this, and she's playing her ukulele. And I said, hey, Kendra, and our names are very similar. And I said, Kendra, I said, toss me the paddleboard. And she goes, oh, Ken, you're on. And so the next video she does is her on her paddleboard with a hula hoop, with the ukulele, and she's playing and doing that. I just like, oh my God, you just rocked it. You just totally rocked everybody on that one. So that was fun. Now here's another one, that a very familiar tune, Love, Love, with Nat King Cole. But I wanted you to see, when I talk about learning how to play and places you can learn and what you can do. So this is one of the early songs I learned, but I wanted you to see what we have, the tools available now that are out there. It's not just a songbook that's got a whole bunch of tablature in it and you're trying to figure out, how does this go? What's the rhythm? So here's Craig and Sarah. This is Sarah over here and Craig. So on the right side are Sarah and Craig. They're married. They're now running the Hawaii, the 52nd annual Hawaii Ukulele Festival. They're now running it. It's been handed off to them from another very famous couple. And Eldrine Guerrero is on the left. And this is one of Eldrine's videos. And bottom that you're going to play. And then there's a recording of them playing. So you can play along with it. And you can also, by the way, on YouTube, I don't know if you knew that, there's a little gear symbol on the bottom of YouTube. You can click on that gear and it says playback speed. And you can slow it down to like 1/10 the speed, half speed, 3/4, or speed it up. And you can go there. I've done that many times where it's like, I don't know how they're doing that. I'm gonna figure this out. So we slow it down and just like, okay, little by little, speed it up, speed it up. So this is Craig and Sarah. And again, they now have all sorts of festivals that they run. And Eldrine is also just amazing.
Go.
The chords.
Oh, it's for the only one I see.
Flip it over. And keep showing it
Feels
on the
very extraordinary.
They play that chord. You can go, oh, let me see. Oh, that was an A7. Okay, now I know what that is.
It's even more
Crazy chord. You
than
feel what their
anyone
structure is if they
you
played that.
adore in love. It's all that I
Here's this one.
can give
They play some incredibly complicated. But this is just
more
fun.
than just a game.
Play this.
for
And
two.
they also do chords. Many times, some of them are subscription-based. Get chords.
Take my heart, but please don't wreck
Sometimes they'll do it for free. Many times they'll do it for free. Click down below, get the chord chart, boom, play along. So there are great tools out there, and YouTube is just awesome for this, to be able to show that. So that's Craig and Sarah and Eldrine. From Marco. This is a guy, he's been playing the guitar for many, many years. He lives in London. He's from Italy, Marco Cirillo, and his teaching style is great. I just love it. But he's been playing the ukulele now for about a year and a half. I'll just play a little bit of one of his pieces that he taught that I just absolutely love. series of chords I'm learning with this. And it's like, and they're such simple chords. Those were 3 chords I was playing. So a little bit of arpeggio, a little bit of finger picking in there, but it was just 3 chords and they're really simple chords. So anyway, but this is Marco, but let me play. Now this is Marco playing it. Same song. A little bit slower. So but again, his teaching style is great. He's really funny. He does, this is an 18-minute video. What they do is they've got the first part where he plays through, then he talks a little bit about the chords, takes you through each step of the chord. So he'll do like 3 bars, 4 bars. He'll move on to the next section, then he'll put it all together. So it's a really nice way to walk through this and take people through step by step. Now, let's do, all right, so this is one of the first people I ran across in ukulele that just absolutely blew me away. And I went, oh my God, I have one of her songs I can play. I'm working on that. But when you see how she plays, it's not like this. And she writes music, performs, teaches. So I wanted to see Taimani go. She's from Hawaii, and her family comes from Portugal. So her family's been there a long time. But she's so actually, let me show you something on the ukulele. So this is standard tuning. My dog has fleas, right? Everybody recognizes that kind of standard sound. So this is called a high G, and it's called re-entrant. So it's like high, low, high, high. It goes bum, 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 bum. This is what I like to play, and that's what she's playing on there. It's a G, but it's an octave lower. So this is a wound steel string. So it's not all steel. So it's nylon wound. And so it doesn't provide that much tension on it. It's meant for the ukulele, but it's a different, again, deeper sound. And that's the one I like because a lot of songs I play are a lot of folk tunes. So it's that little boom, 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 back and forth, and very much like a guitar sound. So that's, it's fun to have different ones to play different songs, because there's certain ones like Marco was playing with a high G, and it sounds really great on that. I play it with a low G, and it sounds really great with that. But if you try and play Malagueña on the high G, It's like, well, what kind of weird sound is that? Then you play on the low G and went, oh, okay, there's the sound. So it depends on what you're trying to play. So there's different tunings there. This is one I love to show to my kids in the classes because, okay, now number one, they're from Brazil. This is an overdriver duo. And what is she playing? Anybody recognize that character? SpongeBob SquarePants. All right. So, everybody gets a SpongeBob SquarePants ukulele, right? That's what they buy. But really, this is what she's playing. Now watch what she does with this.
Somewhere over the rainbow,
Relax.
way up high, and
Strumming,
dreams that
hand strumming,
dream of
clapping it,
once
there's a little lock on there.
lullaby. Somewhere
So there's that. Now the guitar, bass, chords, drums, they play everything. But
you do. I love you. They'll learn much more than we'll know.
mashup between Wonderful World and Somewhere Over the Rainbow, very iconic song. The way this is together. Okay, ready for this. Sing a little tiny soprano, little tiny. I just love what people do this. Experiment, play, get some crazy sounds out of it. So that's Overdriver Duo. I love them, and I love to show it to the kids because they're just like, hey, you don't have to get a really expensive ukulele. That's probably SpongeBob SquarePants ukulele like that was probably $75. It's a little bit, it's a good quality, and it's funny, but so it doesn't have to be like incredibly expensive to make it work. Now here is, I think this is the last video I want to show, but Jake Shimabukuro is now the rock star of the ukulele world. I mean, Al, good to see you. Really nice guy. Got a chance to meet him up at Interlochen a couple years ago, and it was just great to talk to him and chat with him a little bit. But oops. So moves up the neck with his hand. Just this little rocking motion. They're up on the upper place. But he's, again, rock star of the ukulele world. He is the one. So let me finish here with one of my favorite 4-string instrument performers. If you notice, he's playing a 4-string instrument. Now that it could be called a banjolele, which they have. Could be a regular, a banjo, but I think it's a banjolele is what it is. And, the fact that, and actually my grandkids said that, hey, you know what? If you just took your hat off and painted your head green, you could look like Kermit the Frog. I said, like, great. They also said I looked like a worm in my compost bin, but that's okay too. This is, I'll play just a little bit of this because it's just such an iconic tune and it's just so much fun. I love playing this for the kids and I just love this one anyway. There's so many songs about rainbows. What's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. We'll just stop with a little version of it there, a little short, but that's become one of my go-to tunes when I'm with a group, is just playing that one. I just love that. Everybody loves it, and it's a great tune. So, over the top excited about something that's happening at Hope College in August. So the Midwest Ukulele and Harmonica Festival is being held at Hope College in August. And my friend Ben Hassinger, the guy who donated all of these, is the guy who's running it. And he sent me a message back in December and said, Ken, don't tell anybody yet, but I was like, oh, I get chills just thinking about it. So this is going to be terribly, terribly exciting because there'll probably be about 300 or 400 people will come to this festival. So not only is it great for tourism, it's great for Holland, but I get a chance to introduce my community to some performers and people like you've heard today that they've never heard. So this is like Gerald Ross, Katie Deneur, Little Rev. Little Rev is, man, he plays the great Tin Pan Alley stuff, and he teaches all these like train strums, like and he teaches all these great strums, and he plays the blues, and he's awesome. He was up at Interlaken. Katie Deneur, both Little Rev and Katie live in Wisconsin, so not too far for them to travel. And it's really nice. Actually, Gerald Ross is from Michigan too originally. And they're coming here to play. So I'm just over the moon. I'm hoping I can ask Katie. She has a whole, she's a Christian and she's not afraid to say that. And she has a whole channel that she does of all worship music also. But she also does like, Jungle Book, and she'll do, something from a movie. And so she's just an incredible teacher. Guitar, ukulele, voice, and I've taken some voice lessons from her also. So Katie's coming, Little Rev's coming, and Gerald Ross. And I want to play just a little piece of Gerald Ross because this is again a place that I'm hoping to head to with some of my playing. And I took some lessons from him up at Interlaken. Teaches also, so it's really fun. And he's not doing a lot with his left hand there. He's just doing a few little items up and down the neck. Slap motion in there. Just really, really nice. but he does all these lessons, and you can follow him on YouTube. And I purchased a number of his CDs. They're just great, just casual. So it's coming, Katie's coming. And actually, I'm gonna play just a little bit of Katie too, because the other person that's in this video has become a friend of mine. We've never met in person, but we do Zoom together, and I'm one of the experts in the 100 Days Project, and I'm one of the admins for some of her YouTube stuff. This is Cynthia Lynn.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining.
Cynthia is now the most popular ukulele teacher in the world. She's got subscribers. So there's a thing called Patreon, and you can subscribe to different types of skills that people have and learn from those people. And she has a Patreon channel with 5,600 people that subscribe to her every month, anywhere from $1 to $50 a month. I'm not there. I'm down here a list. But she has hundreds and hundreds of free lessons on YouTube. And she also has a lot of them that you pay a little bit for, and you get the song sheets, and then she walks you through the music and teaches you that. So Cynthia was in Michigan a few years ago at one of the festivals. Hopefully she's coming back again soon. I'm really looking forward to meeting her. And I'm hoping to ask Katie, she has this whole worship service or worship music. I'm going to ask her if she's going to stay over to Sunday, because they do the lessons all day Saturday, but hopefully she's staying over. I want to ask her if she wants to play at one of the churches and do one of her worship songs. I'm thinking maybe Hope Church might be a good one for that. So just to let you know. I'm hoping that I'd love to play with her. I'd love to play along with her there. So I'm gonna ask her, and I take lessons from her too online. So she's become someone that when I post something, she goes, "Hey Ken, it's good to see you here." So a little bit of a rapport there. And also like things like Gracie Terzian. Now you can't see, this might go off in just a moment, but this instrument, she's playing a harp ukulele. So there's 4 strings on the top there, which are like a harp sound. So it's a really deep harp sound. And then the 4 strings of the ukulele. And it's a great little, when you play and you get this boom sound in there, and it's a great instrument. It's actually a very, very old instrument, but it's been brought back again. And so she's coming. Anyway, there's lots of great things. I can't wait to show everybody this, and I can't wait for people in Holland to experience this and buy tickets to the concerts they're going to have. They'll have some open mic and some concerts too. So that'll be great. Now, we've got about 10 minutes left. And if anybody would like, now, there you go. Thank you. You brought your own ukulele. Thank you. You're awesome. So I've got some ukuleles here. If anybody would like to grab a ukulele, any one of them, and I'd say probably any one of the ones over there would be good. They'd be the easiest ones to use. And I'll teach you a 2-chord song. Now, my kids have been learning this in the classes, and I taught this at the International Festival last fall. So grab a ukulele, whatever size you want. A couple of them may sound a little different. This one has a low G, which still sounds really good. And I think that one other one may have a low G. Or you may grab the little ones. In tune. Well, that one, it would be fine to play it, but it's tuned differently. It's actually tuned as an open G as opposed to this one. So if you'd like, here, go ahead and take this one. This is one I built. And so go ahead and play it. It's a great one. It's got a low G on it. You'll notice the body is much thicker on it. I built that to be more like a guitar. You could probably just hold it, and if you just sit down with it, you'll probably be okay with it. You ready?
So for those of you at home, does anybody have any questions that you'd like to put in chat or maybe ask on the overhead while people are milling around and testing the instruments?
And they should be in tune. I tuned them all before you all got here. So they should be pretty much in tune. And I'm going to ask you a question also about a format. Okay, so when you look at the ukulele, let me grab one here. I'll just grab one of these. So when you look at the ukulele and you look at a chord chart, you're looking at this right here, and I'll come over on that side too. So you're looking at it like this. The top black bar is the nut, this piece above on the top here, that's the nut. And then you have the frets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these, each section here in between the bars is a fret. Okay, that's each fret. And I've shown on here, this is your left hand. From most of you are playing with your strumming with your right. Are you the opposite?
I'm like Tim and I'm perfect.
Okay, so
I'll try it.
so try it, yeah, because it's interesting. I was just thinking of that last night, thinking I need to take one of mine and string it the opposite way and learn to play left-handed, because I have some students that I've said, well, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not there yet with teaching left-handed, so I'm going to do that very shortly. But give this a try today. So you've got your left hand, and you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is your left hand. You've got first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. Okay. Pinky's not in there. I mean, the thumb is not in there for this, but first, second, third, fourth. So when we're looking at this, our first finger is going on the first string, first fret. So if you're holding it, it's going to be your first finger, top fret, first string. And if you push really hard, you got to push hard on it. And the best thing you can do is if you pinch it, if you put your thumb behind there and pinch it. You get it. If your hand's up here, it's harder to get the pressure on it. So if you can do this, it's a good habit to get into. We get that sound. Now the F chord. So we've got a C7, and don't worry about why it's called a C7. It's just a C7. And we've got an F chord. And what you're going to do is basically move your first finger up one string. Okay, you're just going up one string, and then your middle finger or second finger goes all the way to the top string on the second fret. So it looks, again, you're looking at your ukulele like this. So the first finger is going first fret, second string. So move up one, and then top string, second fret. Okay, so when you're doing it like this, you're really just moving up. You're not switching your hand all around. You're just moving up one string and putting that middle finger up there too. And if you just move it up a little bit. So let me hear your F chord. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, so it's really, and it takes a little practice and a little limbering up, and also a little bit of callus there. So again, you're just moving from the C7 is here, and you're moving up one string, the top string, second fret. So move your middle finger all the way to the top of that. So it's like, let me show you like this. So I'm moving from here and I'm putting it right up on top. One more. Up here? You know, right up there.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
And this finger is going right there. Yep. Okay, now try it. Let me hear it. Close. Now you got to push really hard on it. And I'll tell you, there's one thing that you'll need to do if you're going to be a ukulele player. You could have lovely nails like Ann has, but you'll need to cut them down to nothing. So Cynthia Lynn just showed a video of that the other day. She was doing lessons. She goes, hang on just a minute. She says, all right, they look like they're fine. She says, but they're not. Here's what it looks like before. And then she clipped them off. Like, this is what they look like, because you're pushing down on that string, not on the top of your finger, right up here. So if you have a nail, you can't push down hard enough. So it does become a little harder if you're not doing that. So we're going to try our F chord. I want to hear everybody's F chord. Nice. You're there. You're close. Move your pointer finger up one string. Right. So you look at the F chord. Here's the second string, first string, second string. And we labeled it with the number there so you can see it, which finger goes on there. And of course, as you play later, you can try different ways of making a chord. This is just the typical ways we do it. So what I'm going to show you, and let me ask you one more question while we're looking at it. Is this any easier to read when you're thinking about it than it is when it's up? I get it, because it took me flip the number. So that's a good point. Thank you. Yeah, because I'm trying to restructure these a little bit so people go, oh yeah, I get this. Now, this is not the way it's written in most songbooks, but it is a good way to kind of get started. So you're thinking, okay, I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it this way, and I'm thinking, okay, if I tilted it up, I could see where my chord is. It looks a lot like that, as opposed to that to that. Okay, good, thank you. That was just an experiment. I wanted to try that because I think I'm going to offer that to my students, a little different way to look at it. So what we're going to do, we have a song. Are you ready? We're going to record a song today. So this is Everybody Loves Saturday Night, and we'll do it in English to start with. If you'd like, we can do it in Spanish, and we can also do it in Yoruba, which is the language in Nigeria. So we can do it 3 different ways. So the kids learn in English starting with, but recently, my final class, they recorded it in all 3 languages.
I have a question. Are you strumming?
To start with, you don't have to do that crazy strum. We're just doing something like this. There's an F chord. And then we move our finger down. So you take your pointer finger and move it down. So don't move your whole hand. You got your F chord here. Watch this. Watch my C7. Bonk. I just moved my finger down. There you go. So you're starting up and you're just moving down 1 string. So you're not moving your hand all over or changing position. You're just going from top to bottom, top to bottom. C7. So yeah. So C7. Okay, so C7 and F. So that's just one, and it's really first string, first fret, first finger. It's like everything is number 1 on that one. And it's just a really nice little sound. So let's try on Everybody Loves Saturday Night. And I'll play you a little version of that in just a moment, what else it could sound like. But so let's start with our F chord. Everybody got your F chord ready? All right, here we go. I'll count it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hang on. So every time we change chord is when we change lyrics. So everybody loves Saturday night. So it's every other one. We're just changing on that. So we're doing it just 1 single strum, and then we'll change. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting our F chord. 1, 2. You got a C7 going there. Go to your F chord. There you go. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody, C7, loves Saturday night. F chord. C7. Everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody, 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 everybody loves Saturday night. You played your first song on the ukulele today. Give yourself a round of applause. So it might sound something like this. There's a number of performers out there you'll hear playing this if you look it up. And it was actually a protest song. So it was actually a celebration and a protest song. In Nigeria, when this was written in the 60s, they were on lockdown. They were not allowed to go out except for on Saturday night. So they wrote the song and said, it's like, everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody, 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 everybody loves Saturday night. Okay, Yoruba. Bobo waro fero sato day. Bobo waro fero sato day. Bobo waro, bobo waro, bobo waro, bobo waro, bobo waro fero sato day. There we go. So you learned your first song today and you played it really well. I'm very proud of you for doing that. I'm proud of your trying. That's awesome. So this is what I teach the kids, and I taught this at the International Festival, and the kids get it. They're getting it. And they're like, and now they're learning like the island strum, some of the other crazy strums that go with it. But they started with F and C7, F and C7. They're so tired of playing F and C7, but they finally got it. And now they're starting to do a couple of little strums. Yes. Time.
Yeah.
It is
we
time.
are- Well, and we're, what an enjoyable experience. Wow.
I told you you'd love them.
Andre, is your mic on? I think, oh yeah, it is. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and Andre's going to close the
Yeah,
class.
if you're willing to keep
and-
going, I'm, you know. That I did today can be done on any one of these. They can be played anyway. They will, as you hear, like, you know, the one song is a little brighter and the other one's got a little bit more of a bass run to it. You know, if I did it on the baritone, it's again, it's a completely, yeah, so it sounds like a guitar, right? Bottom 4 strings of a guitar and you, yep. So you can do this. So if I was playing
Make sure
along
you
with that,
repeat the question if they're
Oh,
not
sure.
talking to Mike.
can you play these songs on all different sizes? And yes, you basically can play all the songs I played and many, many more on any of these sizes. Some sound better. Like I said, Malagueña, try and play that on the high G. And it's just like, you got that rhythm note is like, bang, bang. It's like, oh, that's not right. That's not correct. So yes, you had one more over here.
Your vocal instrument is perfect for your ukulele. Have you had vocal lessons?
Have I had vocal lessons? Yes, I have. Locally, there's a teacher, Nicholas Lauren, is a coach locally. Nicholas had a 30-year career as an opera star traveling the world, and he teaches here in Holland. My wife's cousin, which turns out went to school with Nicholas. We found this out after we met Nicholas, and it's like, oh, where'd you go to school? Where'd you, where all the stuff you usually do, and like, where'd you study, and how old are you, and all that stuff. You went to Oberlin? What year did you go? And it turns out, oh, did you know Beth? Oh, Beth was one of my best friends. That's Lorma's cousin. Oh my God, it's like this whole family. So I've taken lessons from Beth. She's an opera singer, teacher. She lives in Vermont. And she and I over the last year we talk often, but she's been giving me lessons. And also Cynthia Lynn had a vocal series that I just went through. And Katie Deneur had a vocal series that I went through also. So I practice. I've been working on that. When I look back 4 years ago, my videos 4 years ago, I did not sound like that. So I was like, oh man, it's good to know that's there. Please don't watch that. Watch something new. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Any more questions? Well, Ken, thank you very much for sharing your enthusiasm
Thank you.
and the youth with us. And
Idea is that we're doing, this was supposed to be for the 90th anniversary. Some things got in the way, and then of course, pandemic and all that stuff. So this was built for that as the ukulele. It'll probably be about $100 you'll get the instrument, and you'll get a nice Hawaiian shirt with windmills and tulips on it, by the way, designed by my wife, Lorma. So that will come, and they'll be playing a song and marching in the band, or marching in the parade. So anyway, so that's coming up. Watch for that in the very near future. So,
Well,
it is called the ukulele, and yes, and they will let people paint them and decorate them themselves, so they won't all look the same. It'll be, you get the wooden shoe that'll be all cut and ready to be assembled. We'll give it to you. You decorate it, get it back to us by a certain time. We'll finish it off and put it together, and you get to keep it after it's done. You get, and I'm hoping it'll be next year. We think that it'll probably be next year. We think we've got enough momentum going with it. And the one reason, so many reasons I love my wife, but when I showed her this, when I first did mine, she looked at it and said, oh, it's a ukulele. I mean, she didn't even think about it. It's like, I said, I love you. I said, you are awesome. So,
well, thank you, Ken.
yeah,
I'm
thank
going
you.
to just say that this has been a very special experience. And I think that the people at home were able to really engage, and you made it very, very wonderful. So thank you on behalf of
Thank you
HASP.
very
I'm
much.
going to go
Thank
ahead
you.
and close the class at home.
Great.
Enjoy your afternoon, folks.
great.